Oh my gosh. All right. Well, what an interesting morning. So much working going on. We've got digging of the yard for gas lines, drilling big trucks. There's Amish people now doing the roof across the street from me. Like, whoa, my little town is busy. It's so busy. Tim, do you hear all this? And we're on lesson 71, right? Oh my gosh. What a couple days for me. All is good. Things are falling into place, you guys, like in my life. At least that's the way it seems. All right. So I'm going to try not to watch these Amish guys standing on the friggin' roof over there. I'll have to get their number. I might need a new roof. All right, so here's the deal. Lesson 71, only God's plan for salvation will work. It's kind of a waste of my time to think I've got it figured out. You know? Which God's plan for my hair would work. Disregard that crazy one. You see it. It's got a mind of its own. All right, so you may not realize that the ego has set up a plan for salvation in opposition to God's. It is this plan in which you believe. Since it is the opposite of God's, you also believe that to accept God's plan in place of the ego's is to be damned. Wow. Wow, I don't even have makeup on. Where's it coming from? All right, gonna focus here since it's almost 11. Now, this sounds preposterous, of course. Yet after we have considered just what the ego's plan is, perhaps that you will realize, however preposterous it may be, you do believe in it. Okay, we got to focus here. The ego's plan for salvation centers around holding grievances. It maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstance or event were changed, you would be saved. Thus, the source of salvation is constantly, I'm so nervous for them on the friggin' roof, but I'm not going to worry about them. The source of salvation, they're in God's hands. Thus, the source of salvation is constantly perceived as outside yourself. This is in bold. Each grievance you hold is a declaration, an assertion in which you believe that says, if this were different, I would be saved. The change of mind necessary for salvation is thus demanded of everyone and everything except yourself. I know, that's the way it is. That's what we do. The role assigned to your own mind in this plan then is simply to determine that what other than itself must change if you are to be saved. According to this insane plan, I was like, where's he backing up to? Can you hear all the beeps? I could literally just sit here all day and watch them. You know this, right? According to this insane plan, any perceived source of salvation is acceptable, provided that it will not work. This ensures that the fruitless search will continue. Where am I at? For the illusion persists that although this hope has always failed, there is still grounds for hope in other places and in other things. Another person will yet serve better. Another situation will yet offer success. So that's the ego, that crazy bugger. It's like, yep, try it, but it knows it won't work. So it's like, yeah, you should try that. All right, I'm getting a phone call, but I'll call you back, Lorraine. Such is the ego's plan for your salvation. Surely you can see how it is in strict accord with the ego's basic doctrine, seek but do not find. For what could more surely guarantee that you will not find salvation than to channelize all your efforts in searching for where it is not? That's the ego. Now, God's plan for salvation works simply because by following his direction, you seek for salvation where it is. But if you are to succeed, as God promises you will, you must be willing to seek there only. Otherwise, your purpose is divided and you will attempt to follow two plans for salvation that are diametrically opposed in all ways. The result can only bring confusion, misery, and a deep sense of failure and despair. How can you escape all this? Very simply. The idea for today is the only, I'm adding an only, it doesn't say that. The idea for today is the answer. But then the next word is only. So I wasn't, is a little, okay. Only God's plan for salvation will work. There can be no real conflict about this because there is no possible alternative to God's plan that will save you. His is the only plan that is certain in its outcome. His is the only plan that must succeed. Did you get all that? I mean, there you have it. These guys are so interesting to me. We're like halfway through this lesson. It's really big. Okay, which means I should try a little harder to get back to the next paragraph, which is in bold print in my book. And I love these questions that we're going to get to. Like, freaking love them. Okay? All right. So, let us practice recognizing this certainty today. And let us rejoice that there is an answer to what seems to be a conflict with no resolution possible. All things are possible to God. Salvation must be yours because of his plan, which cannot fail. Like, what the fuck, you guys? It's God. It's not going to fail. That's what it should say there. And then everyone will be like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right, remember we're doing 2 longer practice periods? We'll begin the 2 longer practice periods for today by thinking about today's idea, okay, which is only God's plan for salvation will work, and realizing that it contains 2 parts, each making equal contribution to the whole. Now, God's plan for your salvation will work, and other plans will not. Okay, let's clear that up. Do not allow yourself to become depressed or angry at the second part. It is inherent in the first. And in the first is your full release from all your own insane attempts and mad proposals to free yourself. They have led to depression and anger, but God's plan will succeed. It will lead to release and joy. Now here comes the good part. Remembering this, let us devote the remainder of the extended practice periods to asking God to reveal his plan to us. We're gonna do it, you guys. We're gonna ask him. Or we make this face if we want. Ask him very specifically. Listen to these 3 questions. I am in love with these 3 questions. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? Please, right? This is my fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, yes. What would you have me do? What do you want me to do? What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? Right? I'm looking for a house. I got 5 different towns to pick from. I finally was like, where do you want me? And bam, I found a house that I like. I'm going to go look at it again for a second time and make sure I like it, okay? But it's like, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? It's like, God, where do you want me to work? God, what should I do? Where am I supposed to be? Okay? Like, yeah. What would you have me say and to whom? And that's giving yourself like as service to others. You know, put me at the perfect place at the perfect time. Give me the perfect words to speak. Go ahead. Go ahead, God. Use me as your little puppet. Like, please, because I don't like this, like, not knowing what to do feeling. And that's because I was trying to figure it out through my ego mind, you know? And now I just hand it over and everything freaking lines up. Even a job. Yeah. I'll still try to be here though, but just, hey God, now would be a good time for my YouTube channel to get lit or something, all my podcasting or something. Like, I do have the potential to earn income online. I don't know why I haven't yet, but I guess it's not time or whatever. So I need to just keep on asking these questions. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What videos would you have me upload to my YouTube? What would you have me say and to whom? So go ahead and throw in an extra question there if you just need a little tweaking. All right, here it gets good again. Give him full charge of the rest of the practice period and let him tell you what needs to be done by you in his plan for your salvation. He will answer in proportion to your willingness to hear his voice. Refuse not to hear. The very fact that you are doing the exercises proves that you have some willingness to listen. This is enough to establish your claim to God's answer. So very cool. You know, and in my own personal life, I think, are you kidding me? You want me to live there? Like in front of everybody? Like I thought I was going to live in a mossy cottage in the forest like a hermit witch. But now you want me in with the people? He says, yeah, now I want you in with the people. It makes me like overwhelmed because I'm listening. And once I start listening, then everything is lining up. Easy. All right, anyways, in the shorter practice periods, tell yourself often that God's, tomorrow I'll be like, it all fell through. I don't know. And then I have to trust, if it doesn't work out, I have to trust that too. All right, anyways, so them's a bit too big long ones. You talk to God. In the shorter practice periods, tell yourself often, oh my God, I smell the banana bread. Elaine, the banana bread. In the shorter practice periods, tell yourself often that God's plan for salvation and only his will work. Be alert to all temptation to hold grievances today. Don't freaking do it. And respond to them with this form of today's idea. So you get the grievance sprouting. Say to yourself, holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan for salvation, and only his plan will work. So knock it the fuck off. Anytime a grievance come in, try to remember today's idea some 6 or 7 times an hour. There could be no better way to spend a half a minute or less than to remember the source of your salvation and to see it where it is. All right, I got to get the banana bread out of the oven. That's lesson 71. Only God's plan for salvation will work.